Hi, everyone. This is Virginia, and this is Budgeting 101. This is a course here that I want you to see that we are starting today. And it's going to be every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. I apologize for starting a little bit late. I had to put things in YouTube where you can find me when I'm doing this. So if you go to our website, butterflyjourney.org, and click on budgeting, or click on human services or services that we offer, you'll see what this is all about. It is a new class that we're starting so everyone can learn how to budget, including myself. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm just an ordinary human being like you, wanting to know how to budget my money, budget our finances. We need to know how to save money. And so, this book that I bought a couple of months ago, it's called Budgeting 101. And on it, it says, from getting out of debt and tracking expenses to setting financial goals and building your savings. And it says your essential guide to budgeting. It talks about starting an emergency fund. Also, technology can be your best friend when it comes to saving precious dollars. And one of the best ways to start budgeting is to track your expenses and create a spending plan. So, we're going to do this crash course, it says here, in budgeting, and it's by a CPA. Her name is Michele Cagan. And so we're going to go ahead and start in chapter one. Now, in the contents, there's 8 chapters, and we're going to take a chapter bit by bit. So we don't want to go too fast, nor want to go too slow, but we want to kind of lay down the groundwork, the basis. So in chapter one, we're going to be talking about, and I'll read the contents to you. Chapter one is budgeting basics, what budgeting is and isn't, using your budget to create wealth, setting your financial goals, know your priorities, 3 main steps for your budget, track and measure your success, and last of chapter one is keep your budget flexible. So we're going to go ahead and start the introduction. I will not read the whole entire paragraph, but just to give you a synopsis of the introduction. The budgeting, sometimes people cringe and they kind of like, I don't really want to do a budget. It's just so time consuming. Or you may say, I don't make enough money to make a budget. You say, I make such little salary that a budget will not even suffice the time to invest. But you'll see as we go along in the course that that's the wrong type of thinking. And we should always try to budget no matter how small or large our salary. Also, it talks about the truth that budgeting doesn't mean sacrifice, it means choice. A lot of times people think budgeting is, oh, it's taking something away I enjoy doing. Really, it's a choice in how we're going to save and spend our money. Also, budgeting is about designing a roadmap to financial security and prosperity. When we are based on going on a trip, or we're going to drive somewhere, maybe go see family and friends across the country, or even take a flight, we may take a train or plane or other kind of mode of transportation to see a family or friend. Well, we always have a map when we're driving, even some type of map when we are flying somewhere, or in some type of other transportation. We want to know where we're going to start and how the steps to get there. Well, budgeting is similar, where we are going to have this roadmap on financial security and prosperity. And then lastly, in the introduction, more than all of that, it's a way to take the anxiety out of money management. If you have a budget, you know where your money is going, where is it coming from, what is it spending on, how you're saving it. So when you know that you have a great budget and it's a budget that you keep and successfully time after time, then you won't be so frustrated and flustered and anxiety over money matters. Now, chapter one, the title is Budgeting Basics. Most people, it says here in the book, most people have the wrong idea about budgets. They think they're all about eating no brand ramen noodles in the dark to save money and keeping endless detailed records of every penny spent. That is not truly budgeting. Now it goes on to say the real point of a budget is to make sure you're never in a position where ramen noodles are all you can afford to eat, or you praying your power doesn't shut off because you couldn't pay the bill. Uh-oh, I've been there when I was a single parent. I really did a lot of praying that, I'm behind on this bill and I gotta rob Paul to pay Peter type thing, and I hope and pray they don't shut off the electricity because I need electricity to do laundry, to wash the clothes, or to even cook a meal, so or take a bath or shower. So in this chapter, chapter one, that we're gonna expose budgeting myths. A lot of people have false ideas what budgeting is. Take a look at a budget reality and reveal the best way to make this personalized money plan work for you. With this powerful tool, you will be able to build wealth, meet and exceed your goals, and be ready whenever unexpected financial setbacks occur. Because we know sometimes we have these surprise medical bills, surprise tax bills, surprise any a car note, a car, need to be repaired or have a surprise, something financial surprise come up, and we will have the funds to pull out our savings to pay for that financial surprise. So, what budgeting is and isn't is on the next page. Now, again, we're laying down the basic foundation of what budgeting is and what it is not before we get into the financial nitty gritty of budgeting. A money plan, not a magic potion. A lot of people think budgeting is a magic potion. It is not. You have to have a plan. You know that saying, those who don't plan, they plan to fail. So if you don't have a plan, any kind of plan you don't have, if you don't plan, you're gonna fail, whatever plan you got. If you don't have a plan, that plan is gonna fail. I know that sounds kind of crazy. So if you don't plan, you're going to plan to fail. So, the right budget is a game plan for your money that assigns specific jobs to every dollar, whether that job is to pay the electric bill, buy this week's groceries, or beef up your 401k accounts. Now, we're going to go in more details about 401k. Just briefly, it's a savings account for retirement that your company, if you work for a company that has that for you and your family to have a savings type of account for retirement. So continue reading from what budgeting is and isn't. It says here that plan helps you direct cash to your financial goals, from paying cash for your next car to funding a destination wedding to enjoy a stress-free retirement. So a budget lets you decide ahead of time what you want to do with your money instead of spending randomly in ways that undermine your plans and leave you with a mountain of debt. How many of you, and I've been there too, all of a sudden something comes up, a financial surprise, I call it, and you need to have the money for something, a bill or a car situation. You need to have your car repair or something with your child or grandchild, some financial thing that you didn't have in your budget, and you just had to make a financial sacrifice and cause debt because of that. Going back to the book, what budgeting won't do is magically and instantly resolve all of your money problems. It's not a quick fix or a perfect formula, but with time and focus, it can move you out of a monthly money crunch and toward financial freedom and prosperity. So that's what budgeting will help, is it will cause us to have a less financial crunch or less financial crisis, and we'll have more financial freedom and prosperity, less anxiety about money, and more wisdom on how to budget our money. So it's then they get a little small leather bag. So they got little stories in here to explain certain things. I'm gonna skip over that and go on to the next information. Bottom line, a budget tailored to your life as opposed to your life tailored to a budget can help you spend consciously, dig out of debt, and build substantial wealth. Now, these classes that we're going to have online are going to be about 30 minutes long. And if you can't sit for 30 minutes to hear what I'm reading from this book called Budgeting 101, that's what I'm reading from, chapter one, then just listen to 10 minutes at a time. So now we're gonna bust some budget myths. We're gonna busting budget myths. This is still in chapter one of Budgeting 101. There are many misconceptions about budgets floating around, and they keep a lot of people from taking control of their money. In other words, these are lies, budget lies that someone had created or made up that are not true. So we're gonna bust those lies, bust those myths. Don't let these myths get in the way of your financial future. We'll knock down these false obstacles, and that's what it is, obstacles, so you can feel good about creating your money plan. You got to have a money plan in order to be financially successful. Now let's continue with these myths. Now the myths one is budgets are for other people. See, like I said on the outset, a lot of people say, well, I don't have enough salary. I don't make enough money to make a budget. You may be making 7.25 an hour or $10 an hour or even $15 an hour. You said, this is not enough. I have children and grandchildren, family to feed, and I need gasoline for my car to get to the work. I need money for this, for that. So budget, this is a myth. Budgets are for other people. The truth is everyone can benefit from a budget. Paying attention to your finances is the best way to avoid crippling debt and build lasting wealth. But myth number two is budgets are too stressful. The truth of it is running out of money every month before your bills are paid, being stuck in debt, and having little or no savings causes anxiety. How many of you, and I've been there too, oh gosh, I ran out of money at the end of the week and end of the month, and I need money for gasoline in my car. I need money for groceries. I need money to pay this particular healthcare bill or statement or electric bill, whatever, or utilities, a phone bill, whatever. And okay, so that's stressful. Budgeting so you can manage your money better will reduce your stress. Myth number three, budgets need to be highly detailed. Truth is that's up to you. You can zoom in and look at each separate line item or zoom out and look at high level income and expense buckets. Now let's go to the next myth. Myth four. Budgets mean cutting back on fun. A lot of people say, oh, if I got a budget, I can't go out to a movie, I can't go to a concert, I can't do this with my family, la la la. The truth is, you won't feel cutbacks in a budget that's right for you. Now, everybody's budget is going to be different based on their salary, situation, events. So, yes, you may end up trimming some expenses, but that's your choice. And it's not the only way to reach your financial goals. Budgeting doesn't mean restricting spending, it means spending money on the right things. Next myth, going over budget blows up everything. That's another myth. Truth is, going over budget is like eating a donut when you're on a diet. Sure, it's a mistake, but it doesn't erase everything else you've been doing. Budgets are flexible and they grow and change to reflect your needs. Give yourself a break and do what you can to get back on track. Another myth about budgets are time hogs. Truth, you can make your budget as time consuming as you want, including not at all. If you can't or don't want to spend time budgeting, work with an app that automatically tracks and updates for you and even lets you set up alerts to keep you from going over budget. Now, here's the real deal it says here. I'm reading from the book, Budgeting 101. Here's the real deal. Creating your first budget takes a little work. That's because you never had a budget. You never wrote down what every penny, every dollar is going to do. So the first initially budget making is going to take a little work and sometimes it's going to take work and time. Even if you're going fully automated with an app, even if you have an app on your phone or your other electronic device, your tablet or your desktop computer, there's still going to be work initially involved because you're setting up different things and how to manage your money. Once that's done, following the budget takes nothing but some thought and commitment. That's what's important about following a budget. You have to be committed to stay with that budget. Even if you're not totally ready to stick to a budget, make it anyway. You'll be surprised how much easier it is to deal with your money. Now, it says here rich people are always on a budget. Making a lot of money and having a lot of money aren't the same thing. So if you make a lot of money and have a lot of money, it's two different things, it says here. The people you might think are rich because of their giant mansions and stable or sports cars often face the same money struggles as people living paycheck to paycheck. Their lives are focused on conspicuous consumption, and they're often deep in debt to finance their quote unquote, says here, rich lifestyle. Continue reading. People who are in great financial shape, regardless of their income, got there and stay there by, guess what? Budgeting. In fact, you'd be hard pressed to find an individual with a high net worth who didn't know exactly where his or her money was going. That doesn't mean wealthy people don't count pennies and track lattes. It just means that they have a plan for their money and are following it. They focus more on saving and investing than on spending to make sure they never go over budget. That's the key goal is make a plan. Stick to that budgeting plan. Don't go over your budget. Now we're going to talk about the truth about tracking. And we're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. So we'll try to get through the truth about tracking and next time, next Sunday, we'll continue on in chapter 1. This is going to be a long course. It may end in December 2023. I mean, we may go into January. But what's important is January 2024. What's important is that we are laying down the basic foundations first of what budgeting is and what it is not. It's important that we understand the basics of budgeting. So let's go about the truth about tracking. If you wonder why there's never enough money to get you through the month, there's a simple way to find out. Track your spending. Always track your spending. Knowing exactly what you're spending money on is the best way to sniff out mindless money habits. And we all have them, it says in the book. We all have mindless spending habits. You'll be surprised when you see your spending laid out in front of you, but at least you have a crystal clear picture of where your money really went and not just where you thought it went. For example, you might think you spend $400 a month on groceries when you really are spending $600. If you only budget for that 400 estimate, you're destined to have a budget failure, and we don't want budget failures. This will also capture things you didn't even realize you were spending or overspending money on, like an old subscription you never thought to cancel. To track your money, write down or digitally capture every dollar you spend for 1 month. Just so for 4 weeks, for 30 days, track everything that you are spending, okay? Write it down or put it in the app, including everything from your $1,800 mortgage payment to the $4 coffee you grab on your way to work. Here, savings counts as expense. So remember to include any money you put into a savings or retirement account unless it was taken out of your paycheck. Don't include that, like a 401k. Don't include that. Record each expense, regardless of whether you paid by cash, check, debit, or credit card, automatic payment, or online transfer. Now you can see where your money is really going and where you're unintentionally overspending. With that information laid out in front of you, you can decide whether you want to redirect some of that cash in your budget. And that's the beauty of budgeting. It gives you the power. You have the power to choose what you want to do with your money instead of reacting after it's already gone. So we're a couple of seconds past 20 minutes. So we're gonna just go ahead and let me see how much more time. Okay, so we're gonna read out this last page on chapter one about breakout of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So we got about 19 more minutes, and then we're gonna end and try to end in 30 minutes. So one of the main benefits of budgeting brings is busting you out of damaging financial cycles like living paycheck to paycheck. Millions of people, including high earners, live paycheck to paycheck every month, meaning they have no money other than their upcoming take home pay to count on. That situation makes it impossible to save money and build wealth. And it traps you exactly where you are, whether you like it or not. You can't change jobs or move to a new city, for example, when you're always biting your nails waiting for that next paycheck. If you're stuck in this situation, you're probably turning to credit cards to cover some of your monthly expenses, which makes it even harder to cover next month's bills. You're always one emergency away from financial disaster. That constant financial struggle can wreak havoc on your plans and your stress levels. Budgeting can change that. So if you or anyone is worried about, oh, I don't have the money this week or this month to pay this bill, to buy this gasoline in my car, groceries, a financial, a medical statement, or bill, or electricity, or utilities, and you worried about certain things happening because you don't have the money to pay for that service or that thing that you need, then budgeting will help with that and it will change it. So let's continue reading. The way out of the paycheck to paycheck problem is to acknowledge it and make some hard, temporary changes to your spending. This is a hard decision that we have to make with our money, and we have to change the way we're spending our money. We may have to stop going to get that $4 and $5 and $6 and $7 coffee drink or coffee treat every day. Let's say you get a coffee drink every day. It costs $5 a day. You go 5 days a week. You work Monday through Friday or some other 5 day work week. Well, you take $5 times the 5 days, and that's $25 already that a person is spending just for coffee. Now, let's say they get a treat with their coffee, some type of breakfast treat or some other kind of treat. That costs $5 too. So $5 for the coffee treat and $5 for the snack treat. That's $10 times 5 days a week. The person stop by this special place where they get their coffee and they treat and they go through a drive-through and pay their $10 a day. We're not even including tax. This is just without tax. And $10 a day, 5 days a week, 10 times 5 is $50. Now, $50, and I want you to get something called a calculator. This is my calculator I keep at my desk, but you can get any kind of calculator. So we have $50 times 4. That's $200 a month. because you're paying $10 for the coffee treat, and then $10 again for the coffee, whatever coffee snack treat. You may get a coffee, and you may get some type of sweet treat to go with the coffee, whatever to eat later. So that's $20 times five. So I'm sorry, that's if you, I mean, that really is a big high treat if you do it that. So this, let's just make it easy and simpler. And let's say you trying to save money. So well, I'm gonna do $5 for a coffee treat, and then take that times two, because you're doing $5 for a coffee treat and $5 for a coffee snack. That's $10 times 5 days. That's $50 a week for 5 days. And you're taking the $50 that week times the five, $250. So you're spending $50 a week, and you take that times four. Times four, that's 4 days a week. So if you do it for 5 days, 50 times five, that's $250 a week. So if you want to say, well, I'm gonna cut down to 4 days a week, and I'm just gonna get a coffee drink on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so that's 200. And if you do 5 days a week, it's $250 a week. Now, if you do something like a lot of people, they may do this and don't even realize they're spending this much money. They may do a breakfast that's a coffee treat and a coffee snack that's $10. Then they may go have lunch. Lunch could be around, depending on where you go. Let's say $10 plus $15. Okay, that's $25 already. And then you may go out, do a drive-through because you had a hard day at work, you worked overtime, you don't feel like cooking, you don't feel like doing anything except just going to a drive-through and getting something to eat, and take it home to the kids or whatever. And if it's just for you individually, let's say you don't even have any kids and you may spend another $15. Okay, so that's 10 plus 15 plus 15. Okay, that's $40 right there just for that one day. And because the person got breakfast, coffee and a coffee treat, got lunch, $15 there, and then they got another $15 going to a drive-through for some quick dinner because they're so exhausted and don't want to cook. So you take that $40 times five, 5 days a week, it came out to be $200. So 40 times four. So we're taking $40 because it's $40 each day, and we're gonna take that times the five. That's $200 a week. Now we're gonna take the $200 a week times four, which is 4 weeks usually, and sometimes it's 5 weeks in a month. That's $800 a month that we are paying for eating out every day, 3 times a week. So getting back to the book, I'm sorry, I'm learning as you how to budget my money. And so I just want to be real and honest with you. This is a financial thing, and we can do this together. So getting back to the way out of the paycheck to paycheck problem is to acknowledge it and make some hard temporary changes. So we may have to cut back on eating out 3 times a week. Maybe continue the coffee and the snack in the morning, but then we bring our lunch from home. We'll have a brown bag lunch, and we can cook some food and have leftovers for dinner. Let's continue reading. Breaking out of this destructive cycle is difficult, but creating and sticking to a budget will help get you out of it. Once you're free, there will be room in your budget to build substantial savings. And from there, you can turn toward accumulating wealth. So we're going to stop right there. And I want to get back to just briefly going over we're going to go and talk about this eating out 3 times a day, 5 days a week. And the reason I want to address this because a lot of people don't know how to cook, or they'll go to like a grocery store and get something quick off the shelf. And that can even be expensive as well. You may think you're saving money. And in some cases you are, but it's better if you can and able to cook your meals at home and use the meals as leftovers and lunch at work. So now I'm going to go to a website here. A lot of people love this fast food restaurant, and okay, I'm going to go to just picking out one particular um, image. This is McDonald's. They have $1, $2, $3 menu. These are everyday deals, they say, and you can order on their app. They make it very, very tempting, tantalizing to eat. I don't have nothing against McDonald's. When I was a child, my parents thought it was a treat to go to McDonald's, but we only went once a week back then when I was a little girl. When I was a kid, we didn't go every day. We just went once a week or maybe twice a month because my mom would cook at home and we ate at home most of the time. So I'm trying to find their $1 meals. They got something called McChicken, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, McDouble, and small fries. And so the reason I'm talking about this is you have to be very, very careful. There's a lot of marketing advertising to get people to spend money they don't have, and they go into a financial crisis. And and I just wanted to look at their menu, especially their breakfast menu, because a lot of people just don't have time. I don't know how to cook. They don't have the time to cook. They don't know how to cook. And I'm still there learning how to cook myself, so I'm not dissing anyone who don't know how to cook. But there's YouTube videos and learning how to cook breakfast and lunch and dinner. And for example, I cook on something called sausage McGriddles at McDonald's. They do have nutrition allergen information. However, I don't see their prices. I'm looking for prices of McDonald's menu. So let me just go to another tab here, and I'm going to look up uh, McDonald's prices. Okay, McDonald's prices, menu prices come up. So I'm just trying to get, this is from September 2023, which was last month. So let's say you want to order some lunch from McDonald's. Well, they have on here, which is really good. They have the calories and they have the price. And it says McDonald's burgers meals include medium fries and drink, a large meal upgrade for 80 cents. So a Big Mac is based on this website is $4.89. And so if someone gets a Big Mac every day for lunch, 5 days a week, we're going to take $4.89 times five. That's $24.45. Granted, it says the fries and the drink comes with it. I don't know if this is all McDonald's, but let's say you go to, I'm just trying to find their breakfast. Okay, here's the breakfast menu. So let's just round up to 20. It's 20, round about $24 for lunch 5 days a week. And I'm gonna just go ahead and write this down on a piece of paper. Yeah, I get used to this. So this is lunch, $24.45. To be accurate here. And now we say, well, we want to go by McDonald's and get uh, a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wait. Let's see. The highest price one is based on this website is called sausage sausage egg biscuit meal. That's $5.59 times 5 days a week, and this is breakfast, and that's $27.95 for 5 days. Okay, so lunch for 5 days, 24.45. Breakfast is 27.95. Now let's say, oh, I had a rough day at work. I worked 10 hours, 12 hours. I'm just so exhausted. And McDonald's usually have late hours, and that's no accident. They stay open late for people who work long hours, and rightfully so. That's wonderful that they provide that service. And so let's go to another menu where, all right, here's some sandwiches, McDonald's chicken sandwiches. And don't get me wrong, I'm not picking on McDonald's. I just choose McDonald's. McDonald's one of the most popular and most famous and notoriety of fast food. So if you go to the chicken sandwich of McDonald's chicken sandwiches, the highest price one, and this includes medium fries and drink, it's the one called Spicy Deluxe Crispy Chicken Sandwich Meal, and that one's $8.49. So if someone is too exhausted to cook, they go home and they just real late out. They're just too exhausted to cook. They may go through a drive-through restaurant, not just McDonald's but others. So just take $8.49 times five, 5 days a week. That's going to be $42.45. That's for dinner. And that's just dinner for that one person. Now, if the person has children or grandchildren at home who just came from school or and picking up something for them as well when they're leaving work, that's an additional expense. So this is just averaging out or learning how much it's going to cost for one individual person. So let's add this up. So for breakfast, 5 days a week at this particular McDonald's, or it could be any other fast food restaurant. I just picked McDonald's because it's more popular and famous. $27.95 for 5 days. Lunch is going to be $24.45 for 5 days, and dinner is going to be $42.45. So we're going to add these numbers up right now in the calculator. 27.95, the breakfast plus 24.45, that's the lunch, and then plus the dinner, 42.45. That comes to $94.85 for 5 days. Now, if you take that $94.84, and this does not include taxes, just think tax is going to be even more. So you take $94.85 times 4 weeks in a month. That comes to $379.40 a month just to go out to eat 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for one person for 4 weeks in that month. So if you round up, it's going to be $380 a month just for eating out 3 times a day for 4 weeks in a month. So if it's 5 weeks, that's an additional $94.85. That 85 cents is going to be additional day. So $94.85. Yeah. So I'm just learning with you. I bought this Casio calculator, and the reason why I like this one is solar as well. So try to get a calculator that's solar. It also has an off button, and then it has an on button here and off button. So I just want you to see that the solar calculators are one of the best because you don't basically. I never put a battery in here, even though it has a place for a battery. I've never even opened. I never even opened this up. I just never had to use a battery because it's solar. So what I like for you to do for your homework is the next time. I know we went 10 minutes over. I started a few minutes late. What I want you to do for homework is write down everything that you purchase before the next class. The next class is Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on this Beyond 50 Wellness YouTube channel. So if write down everything, keep your receipts for everything that you purchase. I know lots of times people pay with their phones, Apple Cash, other kind of cash apps, and they don't have a physical receipt. So if you don't do a physical receipt, then just make sure you write down on a just get you a notebook. Yeah, let me just quickly let me get this here. Sorry for getting off camera. Just get you a notebook, a simple notebook like this that has, lined paper. Just get you a simple notebook and write down what you are purchasing. Even if you get a receipt, write it down. Just say, coffee, $4, coffee treat, $4, breakfast, and then you say lunch, this kind of sandwich or a salad or whatever you have for lunch. Write down, and then dinner, write down if you purchase anything, no matter if it's just a piece of gum, write it down, and then you'll see where your money is going, and then we'll get back together next Sunday. Yahweh, the Most High will. We'll get back together next Sunday, and we'll talk more about from the book Budgeting 101. And I'm going to put a link of the book from Amazon into the description box. And so we're going to be talking about next week. We are going to be talking about using your budget to create wealth, your very own get rich scheme. So we're going to talk about creating wealth. We're going to talk about save, savings and investing. We're going to talk about focusing on saving. We're going to talk about building an empire of assets. We're going to talk about setting your financial goals. We need to set financial goals. Again, I want to tell you, I am not a financial advisor. You probably can tell by the way I was calculating those numbers. I'm learning just like you are. And I'm not a CPA. I'm not any kind of financial wizard. I'm just an ordinary, average human being like you, wanting to know how to budget our money so that we have control over our money and we can spend the money and save the money that's best for our situation. So thank you again for being with us, and hope to see you next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on Beyond 50 Wellness. Thank you and have a great evening.